Let us see the next question. The closing value of the Sensex for the month of October is given below. So we have been provided with the closing value of the Sensex for a time period. Date is provided and the closing price is given. So we can understand something like this. Don't write anything. Let me explain you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 and 20. How many closing prices are given? 20 closing prices are given. 20 is less than 30. So we understand that over here the number of closing prices are less than 30. You are required to test the weak form of efficient market hypothesis by applying a run test at 5% and 10% level of significance. What do we understand with the 5% or 10% level of significance? It means that whatever the conclusion that you give will have 5% chances of mistake. Whatever the conclusion that you give will have 10% chances of mistake. That is what we understand is the 5% and 10% level of significance. Following values can be used. Friends, as I told you that say we are required to find something that is certain things like a range. For that say this information is going to be helpful. Value of the T at 5% is 2.101 at 18 degrees of freedom. 10% same value is means same type of reading is given for 18 degrees of freedom. Again 5% and 10%. For 20 degrees of freedom, we have been provided with the reading. So how we are supposed to use this reading and how we are required to use this data, that is what now we are going to understand. Friends, if at all the number of observations are less than equal to 30, then we will apply t-distribution test if sample data is given for assessment. In this question, the question itself is providing that so you have to apply the t-distribution test. It means that this is the sample data only. In that step number 1 is calculation of N1, N2 and R. What is N1? It is number of times price increases. What is N2? Number of times price decreases. And what is R? It is indicating the uninterrupted sequence of the price change. Whatever the working that say we have done recently, that is what say we are required to do. Listen me carefully. Now we are required to calculate the mean value, that is mu, by applying this formula. Listen carefully. So this is what say we understand is the mu value, that is the mean value. This is what say on an average time. So we understand that say actually so there is a variation in terms of uninterrupted sequence of the price change that say it should have. This is what say ideally the uninterrupted sequence of the price change should be there. Then we'll make the computation of the variance. Okay. Now suppose for example the value of the R comes to let us say 10. Okay, out of 20 observations, so we find that say the uninterrupted sequence of the price change is 10, and it should be 8. So can we directly conclude that say the market is in weak form of market, that is say the efficiency? The answer is no. What happens that say we understand over here the theory says that say ideally it should be 8. But if it is not exactly 8, it is okay. It should be within some range from 8. Let us say that it should be in the range of 6 to 12. Suppose something like that. Or it should be in the range of, let us say 6 to 10, something like that. This is what say we understand is so the kind of range that say we are supposed to develop using this mean value. And when it comes to the range, we understand that say we are supposed to calculate the standard deviation. So next is the calculation of the variance by using the simple formula. mu minus 1 into mu minus 2 divided by n1 plus n2 minus 1. Suppose for example it is 4. Then standard deviation, that is under root of the same, that is 2. Now the last step will come. In the last step, what we are required to do, listen carefully. The mu value, that is 8, what I have assumed over here, okay, 8, minus standard deviation, that is 2, into t table reading for 5% level of significance. That will give the lower range, and 8 minus 2 into again t table reading, say for 5% level of significance, to get the upper range. So this is the way we develop a range in which the value of the R should fall. If at all actual value of the R is falling within this limit, then the market is in weak form of market efficiency, not otherwise. So friends, here is the T table reading provided to us. 5% level of significance, 18 degrees of freedom. 5, that is 10%, that is the level of significance, and 18 degrees of freedom. And similarly for 20 degrees of freedom, so the data is provided to us. Okay, that is what they have provided to us, the data. 5%, 2.101 for 18 degrees of freedom. That is the way I mentioned the values over here. Friends, over here we are required to refer the T table reading. We are required to refer the T table reading for a value which is N1 plus N2 minus 1. We have to refer it for N1 plus N2 minus 1. N1 is number of times price increases, N2 is number of price, that is times price decreases. Since we have been provided with the 20 closing prices, so of course N1 plus N2 will be in total 19. 19 minus 1 is 18. So we have to focus only on this 18 column, and accordingly, so we are required to make the calculation of answer. So what will happen? For 5% level of significance with this assumed value, the lower value will be 2.101 into 2, that is subtracted from 8. And similarly over here, 2.101 into 2 is added to 8. Okay, there is an addition, I'm sorry. That is the way you develop a range. Now finally, whatever the value of the R that say you have calculated over here, that is what you are required to make a comparison. Is it falling within this range? Then in that case, so the number of uninterrupted sequence of the price change is neither too high nor too low, and the market is in weak form of market efficiency. This is the way the conclusion is drawn. I am explaining this once again, all these steps. See, the first thing that you need to check is the number of closing prices. The number of closing prices are 20 in this example, which is less than 30. So in that case, in case of the sample data, you are required to adopt t-distribution test. In case of the population data, you are required to apply the normal probability distribution test. The question itself is providing that you have to apply the t-distribution test. So of course we will go do answer in that sequence. Second, listen carefully to me. What we will do, we'll make the calculation of the N1, N2 and R. N1 is number of times price increases, N2 is number of times price decreases, and R is actually uninterrupted sequence of the price change. Means price moving up for how many times, price moving down for how many times. It means that say is going in one direction in how many, that is for how many times. That direction may be positive, that direction may be negative. Second step is the step in which we make the computation of the mu, that is x bar. So ideally the number of times the movement of the price should be this. So ideally what should happen, let's say this value should match with this value. However, if it is not matching, then the market is not in weak form of market efficiency. Are we supposed to draw a conclusion like this? The answer is no. So what should be the kind of conclusion? The theory says that we are supposed to develop a range. Ideally it should be 8. However, it is okay if it is somewhat more or somewhat less than 8. How much? That depends upon the standard deviation. How do we compute the standard deviation? Under root of the variance. How do we compute the variance? This is the formula for variance. So you compute variance, you compute standard deviation, and then you develop a range. How range is developed? It is the lower limit is developed as, understand carefully and logical, whatever the mu value that we have found minus something, and the upper limit is mu value plus something. Minus is what? T table reading into standard deviation. How to have the T table reading? T table reading will be for n1 plus n2 minus 1 for a specific degree of freedom. So what happens that say over here it is n1 plus n2 minus 1 has to be 18 because total prices are 20. So number of changes will be 19. 19 minus 1 is 18. What is this 5%? Whatever the conclusion that say we draw has a possibility of 5%. 5% chances that say this conclusion is wrong. 10% chances that the conclusion is wrong. That is what we understand is a 5% level of significance and 10% level of significance. This is the way we have to draw the conclusion. This is very good theory wherein we have been provided with certain measures based on which exactly you will be able to draw the conclusion whether the market is in weak form of market efficiency or not. In case of autocorrelation test, the theory only says that the R should be 0 or very near to 0. Now near to 0 is very difficult to quantify. So in comparison to that, this is a very good theory in which you will be able to draw the conclusion. Let us answer the question. First point. Information is given about closing prices less than 30. Full stop. So we should adopt weak form of market efficiency, comma, we should test weak form of market efficiency using T distribution test, comma, if sample data is given for assessment. Second point. In this question, we have been given T distribution test to be applied. Third, 5% level of significance means there are 5% chances of mistake in the conclusion drawn. In the conclusion drawn. Full stop. Step number 1, calculation of N1, comma N2 and R. So in step number 1, we have to find N1, N2 and R. So column number 1 is date. Column number 2 is closing price. N1, N2 and R. Please write an answer along with me. 1st of October, or we can say that the date is 1st. The closing price is 2800. Date is 3rd. The closing price is 2780. So there is a reduction in the price. So in N2 I am writing 1. 4th, the closing price is 2795. So the price increases. So in that case I am writing 1 in N2, that is N1 column. Then on 5th, the price is 2830. Price increases further, so 2. On 8th, the price is 2760. So again there is a reduction in the price, so I am writing 2 over here. On 9th, 2790. There is increase in the price, so 3. On 10th, it is 2880. So it is 4. On 11th, 2960. So it is 5. On 12th, 2990. That is 6. 13th, 3200. I'm sorry. This is 15th. Then it is 16th. 3300. So it is 8. On 17th. 3450. So it is 9. 19th. 3360. So the price is falling down. So I'm writing 3 over here. On 22nd, 3290. Again price falls down. On 23rd, 3360. The price is going up. On 24th, 3340. So the price is falling down. On 25th, 3290. Price is again falling down. 29th, 3240. So it is 7. On 30th, 3140. So it is 8. On 31st, 3260. Price is going up, so it is 11. So N1 and N2 have been found by us. Now let us see how to make the calculation of the R. So R will be like this 1. Okay. This is 2. This is 3. This is 4. This is 5, 6, 7 and 8. This is the way we can calculate the N1, N2 and R. So step number 2. Calculation of mu. Mu is simple language. We understand is calculation of the x bar. So it is 2 into N1 into N2 divided by N1 plus N2 whole plus 1. What is the value of the N1? Value of the N1 is 11. N2 is 8. Whole divided by 11 plus 8. Plus 1. So 2 into 11 into 8, 176 upon 19. 9.2632 plus 1. 10.2632. That is the way the mu is calculated. Step number 3. Calculation of standard deviation. It is under root of the variance. Under root of 10.2632. So it is 3.2036. Sorry. Step number 3 is variance. Variance is required to be calculated. Sorry. Step number 3, calculation of variance. It will be calculated as mu minus 1 into mu minus 2 divided by N1 plus N2 minus 1. This is the way the variance is calculated. Okay. Now what is the mu? Mu is 10.2632 minus 1 into again 10.2632 minus 2 divided by N1 plus N2 minus 1. What is the value of the N1? N1 is 11 plus 8 minus 1. 9.2632 into 8.2632 divided by 11 plus 8, 19, 19 minus 1, that is 18. So 9.2632 into 8.2632 divided by 18, that is 4.2524. This is the way the variance is calculated. Step number 4, calculation of standard deviation. It is under root of the variance. So it is under root of 4.2524. So 2.0621. This is the way we make the computation of the standard deviation. Step number 5, conclusion. So in order to draw the conclusion, first of all we are required to find the range, lower value and higher value between which the value of the R should fall. Now the conclusion is drawn like this. You have to develop two limits, lower limit and higher limit. As far as the lower limit is concerned, it is calculated like this. It is mu minus T distribution reading, that is T table reading, into standard deviation, and the upper limit will be again like this, mu plus T table reading multiplied with the standard deviation. What is the value of the mu? It is 10.2632 minus, friends, we have to draw the conclusion for two times, so I am writing in the heading 5% level of significance. It means that say whatever the conclusion that say we draw over here has 5% chances of mistake. So T table reading for 5% level of the significance for 18 degrees of freedom. This 20 degrees of freedom information is provided just to confuse us, because we have to read for n1 plus n2 minus 1. So it is 11 plus 8, 19 minus 1, that is 18. So it is 2.101. So over here it is 2.101. That is T table reading multiplied with the standard deviation, 2.0621. So 10.2632 minus 2.101 multiplied with 2.0621, 4.3325. So 10.2632 minus 4.3325, it comes to 5.9307. This is the lower limit, and similarly we have to find the higher limit. 10.2632 plus again 2.101 into 2.0621. 10.2632 plus 4.3325, that comes to 14.5957. Okay, now basically the value of the R should be falling between these two, and we can see that so the value of the R is 8. 8 is falling between both of them. As 8 is falling between both of them, so we can say that say the market is in weak form of market efficiency. Let an answer. R is 8, comma, it is falling in between limits. Full stop. So market is in weak form of market efficiency. This is what we understand. For 10% level of significance, you try to do answer, then I will do answer for you. So whatever we have done for 5%, the same we are required to do for 10%. Let us see that's how to do answer. Again, we are required to draw the lower limit and upper limit. Okay, the lower limit is like this. It is mu minus t table reading into standard deviation. Upper limit is mu plus t table reading into standard deviation. Value of the mu is 10.2632 minus t table reading. Now that value will be 1.734. Multiplied with the standard deviation is 2.0621. So 10.2632 minus 3.5757. 10.2632 minus 3.5757. So 6.6875. Again 10.2632 plus 1.734 into 2.0621. So 13.8389. Again the value of the R, that is 8, is falling between this, that is both of them. So the market is in weak form of market efficiency. Read an answer. Value of R falls in between about two limits. So market is in weak form of market efficiency. This is what we understand. So going back for a summary, we have been provided with the information about the number of closing prices which are less than 30, and we have been provided with the clear information that say we have to adopt the T distribution test for the purpose of analysis. In step number 1, we'll make the calculation of number of times price increases, number of times price decreases, and the uninterrupted sequence of the price change, that is R. That is what we have calculated. Just be careful for this calculation, because of course you can see that all the remaining answers are dependent upon this answer. If at all you make a mistake in N1, you make a mistake in N2, then in that case definitely your entire answer will be wrong. Step number 2 will be calculation of the mu, that is x bar. It is 2 into N1 into N2 divided by N1 plus N2 whole plus 1. So basically, the theory says that actually the uninterrupted sequence of the price change, that is R, should not be too high, it should not be too low in this 20 time period. It should be 10.2632. So is it necessary to be exactly that? The answer is no. It can be in a range of this 10. What is that range? For that, say, we need to compute the variance and standard deviation. So variance is found, and then under root of the same is the standard deviation. Then for 5% level of the significance, say we make the computation of the limits, lower limit and upper limit. Lower limit is t distribution table reading into standard deviation, that is added to mu, and that itself is deducted from mu in order to make the computation of the limits. So basically the value of the R should be within this limit, and actually 8 is falling within that limit. So the market is in weak form of market efficiency. 5% level of significance means there are 5% chances of mistake in this conclusion. The same thing for 10%. And with that, say, we draw the conclusion.